Hey guys, welcome to week 3 of our kind of like drop shipping for beginners type of course. I don't want to call it a course, kind of just me shooting the shit, if I'm being honest, about some basic, I guess, tips and tricks I think that drop shipping beginners should know in particular. So first off, as you guys can see, 18,000 in sales today. That is from 2 orders. It's 2 split orders, 50% down. 162,000 on the month. I did have $500 in refunds, so you can see that. But and actually had 1 or 2 people wire me, so this might actually break a $200,000 month. Pretty good month. But as I've told you before in other videos, you know, what are we in July now? July, August, September even. Pretty solid months for this store. But what I wanted to touch on today is Dropshipping Mentors. It's tough because when I first started, and I tell everyone this story, I had got my first store up to $3,000 a month profit, and I was selling portable ice makers. Right, so I tell everyone this story because I think you have to like show people where you started. To me, that was high ticket drop shipping at the time. I think it was $200 for this portable ice maker, but I made almost like 40% margin before like even upselling stuff and things like that. So I made $80 a sale, whatever. I was making 1, 2, 3 sales, eventually a couple sales a day. But when I had gotten to that point, I actually became kind of like a drop shipping coach, maybe you even want to call it, for part of Dropship Lifestyle. And I've always said good things about Anton. You know, there's his course does a pretty good job. It's more expensive than when I bought it, 8-10 years ago, whenever I had done it. But what I had found, even when I was doing like a dropship coach, dropship mentor, what I don't like is so many people, whether they're doing courses or YouTube or whatever, they're kind of just like full of shit. They're like, everyone can succeed. That's not true. It takes hard work, it takes a little bit of luck. It definitely takes, I'd say, like persistence, right? You have to like be okay failing. Like the first time I set up my Google ads, I set them up completely wrong. Anton himself actually helped me like fix them. But I had like 1,000 products completely set up wrong in Google Merchant Center. Not even close to correct. Made a sale, thought I was super stoked, found out that the unit I sold had the wrong price by like $1,000 and actually lost $500 by selling it. So yeah, I mean, like, these types of things happen. That's where obviously a dropship mentor, dropship coach type of thing will help you. The biggest thing I would say is maybe 1 out of 10 people got to make consistent money. And by consistent money, I'll say $500 plus a month. Obviously, I know some people who've done quite a bit better than that. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the actual people I helped. And I would say the people I helped versus other coaches did considerably better. So if I was at 1 out of 10 to help people get consistent money, I mean, other people may have been 1 out of 15, 1 out of 20. And I'm not even blaming those other mentors, coaches, whatever you want to say. Most of the coaches and mentors in Anton's course did a great job giving good information because they took his course. The problem with seeing all these YouTubes and random courses out there nowadays is they could just be giving you terrible information, where at least all of our base information as coaches, you know, in that course I was teaching at the time, we had a solid base. I'm not saying we were the best, but we had a very solid base. We weren't going down terrible paths or telling other people to follow us down those paths. But a couple of the biggest thing I see with like mentors is I find it's usually better once you make $500,000, $2,000 a month. Finding a mentor at that point usually works out a bit better. When people start off just brand new, don't know what's going on, a lot of times they either just don't like pull the trigger, like they think everything has to be perfect. I need my 1,000 products up. Everything has to be rewritten. Everything like my website doesn't look nice enough yet. They waste a lot of time on that type of stuff, or they go the exact opposite way and they're so overwhelmed with all the information that they're getting. How to set up Google Ads, how to build a website on Shopify, how do I upload the theme, how do I change my header, how do I upload a favicon? I mean, like any of these random things, they're so overloaded with information. It's like paralysis, right? Like just nothing happens at all. And so once you make that $500,000, even just say, screw it, make your first sale. You've done enough where like you're clearly not as overwhelmed, or you got lucky, you know what I mean? But the reason I say like 1 out of 10 people I helped succeeded, again, this is, probably in weekly calls with them for 4 to 8 weeks. It depends. It's like little 30-minute calls. It was usually, again, they want everything perfect, or they have paralysis because they're getting overloaded with so much. But really the biggest thing is most people chose a terrible niche. I can't stress this enough, that choosing a bad niche, almost like 95% will destroy most people. Like, could I make a store work that's a terrible niche? Yes. And by make it work, could I make it earn me $1,000 a month? I could. But the headache and the time and effort and the stuff, like the things I would need to do and go above and beyond what the beginning dropshipper would know, it could take me months to get it like that, and it's really just not worth the headache. And so when I say everyone's choosing a bad niche, I don't believe in AliExpress drop shipping. I don't believe in these like $5 crap products and you sell it for $10 like as an impulse buy. I do believe in high ticket drop shipping. Over the last decade, I've definitely switched more to like extreme high ticket drop. As you can see, like I'm selling $10,000 products. That might be a little much, but one of the biggest things when I found that I went to higher ticket dropshipping, that I had talked with, I guess you could call it like a mentor group, whatever, the people who've done better than me, Corey was one, Corey's never sold products as high as this. Again, I've gone extreme. I think his main one was kind of like $1,000 to $3,000. But I found it almost as hard to sell a $2,000 product as a $10,000 to $20,000 product. But I don't sell a product unless I get 30% margins, right? That's 30% margins after shipping. And so if I was going to spend the effort to make, let's just say $2,000 for an easy number, 30% to make that $600 versus selling a $10,000 product, maybe put an extra hour in to sell that, and I make $3,000 instead of $600, it was a pretty easy decision for me, right? Now, I don't recommend jumping into super high ticket items right away, but I do think anything between $500 to $1,500 is a pretty solid, point. In last week's video, I did show you humidors, right? I think cigar humidors. It's probably a tougher niche to get into, but it's the price point is right. If you're also looking at something, something as simple as like $1,000 to $1,500 juicer, that's definitely something where it the price point fits. The shipping's not going to be too expensive on it. There's different things that you can do, but when I was mentoring people, coaching people, whatever you want to call it, the niche selection, even when I would tell them, hey, like this is a terrible idea, they would still do it. And they'd make their websites, they'd maybe make one sale, like, hey, I spent $500 ads, I only made $200, what's going on? I tell them, hey, the niche sucks. They push on a couple more months and they're in the hole, and then they quit, right? Like, I'm trying to think of like some terrible one, electric bikes. I can't tell you how often I got this like 8 to 10 years ago when I was doing this type of stuff, and it's even more competitive now. I actually had this, I don't want to call him a student, whatever you want to call him, like a person I was doing the coaching calls with succeed, but he's probably like the only one I've ever seen do it because it's so saturated now, right? A lot of people like to try to sell grills, right? Grills in general, if you can go to Home Depot, if you can go to Lowe's, if you can go to these types of places and buy one, it's already going to be tough for you to beat them. head-to-head pricing wise, website wise, conversion wise, right? They're going to have a better conversion rate than you. They pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars to increase their conversion rate 0.1%, right, every month. Grills were really popular. Electric bikes were really popular. A lot of like home furnishings, like entryway, like benches, or like outdoor like garden type of stuff, like those hanging benches and like all the time. And the issue is, I was seeing like 40 to 50 to 60 people. I was probably seeing 10 people a day at my like peak when I was rolling through this in 30-minute sessions. And you keep hearing the same niches come over and over, and you keep seeing the same niches fail. You have to think outside the box a little bit. No, e-bike is kind of thinking outside the box. That's just too saturated. But just like patio furniture, that's not thinking outside the box enough. And so I guess the biggest thing I kind of want to mention about Dropship Mentors or coaching or whatever you want to do it, if you're serious about it, I think it can speed up your growth, your path to profit faster, all those types of things. But you need someone who I think is going to be straight with you, right? They can't just blow smoke and cheer you on and push you down the path that's a terrible idea. Like grills. Grills are a terrible idea. Two, they have to have had a successful store. I can't tell you how many people, like, I get so frustrated watching some of these smaller like AliExpress guys, like, oh, I did $100,000 in sales in 30 days using TikTok or whatever, like all this type of stuff. Facebook ads. What they're not showing you is that they maybe made $1,000 profit on that. That they spent, these massive Facebook budgets that are honed in, and they have like 50 different ad campaigns as they're consistently split testing against each one just to find the winner. And even then, those products usually last and burn out after like 90 days because they're usually a shit product. So then like people get bad reviews, all this type of stuff, and they got to shut it down and move on to another product. I remember I went to a conference, how long ago was it? This might have been 8 years ago when I presented at a conference. On top, actually Amazon FBA at the time. I need to do some Amazon FBA videos, but I'll finish up these dropshipping videos first. And one of the guys presenting there was an AliExpress guy. And he did, over $100,000 in sales every month, all this type of stuff. And he told us that he made more on his cash back some months between his Facebook ad spend, buying the product, all that type of stuff. He made sometimes more on his like 2% cash back than he did in actual profit, which was crazy to me that you'd risk that much for such a little reward. Granted, he was getting a ton of miles. He was flying around for free. Like, there was some other benefits, I'm sure, to it. But, like, man, that's crazy to me. And so, yeah, like, I think, again, got to have a decent person who's going to tell it to you straight. They're not just going to push you down the path just to get you keep coming back. Two, I do believe it's got to be, like a high-ticket item. And again, high-ticket item, but the person has to be making real sales. Like, I'm showing you I'm making some real sales. I showed you a couple weeks ago how I had a bad month. There's good months, there's bad months, but this is it. You can see the refunds, you can see Shopify, you can see everything. And then the last thing is, I always like to talk to people who've actually sold their businesses before. So I've sold 3 e-commerce businesses. 2 were Amazon FBA. 1 was a drop shipping store like this. I will be selling this one probably in the upcoming weeks. I'm probably going to list this one to see what we can get. I think the market seems pretty good for it. Amazon FBA is taking a big hit on selling. I know they're getting around like a 2 to 2.5 multiplier on your annual profit, where drop shipping stores where you control the traffic with Google and Bing and all that type of stuff, I think this one's probably going to get a 3.5 times multiplier on annual profit. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can sell it quick, but yeah, it's the mentors that haven't sold a website before, just makes me a little nervous because like either what went wrong, or two, why could they not sell this? So for example, when I've sold my products or my websites, they've done crazy in-depth analysis on my accounting, on my bank statements, on the product, on the reviews. They've even tested the product themselves. Like, if you can't sell your products, again, I don't know how great of, if you can't sell your website to another person for them to run, and all three that I've sold are still in business right now, actually. With the new owners, whether they've sold it or not, I have no idea. But if you just can't sell it, it just worries me that you're not in a real niche, or you're not making a real product or a quality product, or you know you're doing something wrong, basically, right? So I hope that kind of helps. Mentorship can definitely speed up the process. You just have to choose the right one, realistically. I know I rambled a little bit, giving some niche ideas and stuff like that. Maybe that will be next week's video. That seems like a good time to kind of wrap it up there. With maybe niche selection. That'd be probably what I'm going to do. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Again, as you guys can see, the numbers have been changing here. 162,000 in sales. Maybe close out a couple more, break the $200,000 mark this month. That'd be great. And we'll go from there. All right. Adios.